everyone, welcome back to my vlog, Gingerella. So I've struggled to vlog just because it gets so dark in the evenings, and I'm back and I'm going to give you a quick recap of some of the things I've been sewing, which really isn't very much actually. I sew a little bit less in the winter, and also talk to you about the little red dress project. So first and foremost, I made, and these aren't in order at all because this is just what I've got on today, but my first piece of sewing since I spoke to you last was a second Mesa dress from Seamwork mag. I brought the shoulders in a little bit, and I also lengthened the dress by about 2 inches, so it's a little more work appropriate, shall we say. Fabric is from SEWN Bristol. It's so soft, it washes really well and sews and cuts really well as well. Staying with the jersey dress theme, I made a sew over it heather dress. This fabric is actually from Fabricland in Bristol, and if I come really close you might be able to see that there are little flecks and things in the actual fabric, and I love it. It's so comfortable. Honestly, it's amazing that it has pockets. Every time I wear a different jersey dress, I'm just disappointed that they don't have pockets and I'm still going to put my hands in them. I did the whole thing on my overlocker. The only thing that was a bit fiddly on the overlocker were the edges of the pockets, so attaching them to this princess seam bit and the side seam bit, so you might want to use your sewing machine for that. I initially cut out, I think it was either an 8 or a 10, but I'll tell you actually because I've got my maker's workbook. Yes, initially I cut out a size 10 at the bust and hips and tried to grade to an 8 at the waist, and I opted for the 3/4 length sleeves. It was really big when I'd made it, and I think it's always going to depend on the jersey that you have. Sometimes it will end up being big and other times it won't, so I think each time probably might need to just make the adjustments. It was a little bit tricky in places to know exactly where to make the adjustments in terms of whether to make them on the princess seams or to go with the side. And for me, I did a combination of a few different things. Some adjustments here along these princess seams. I didn't adjust any at the front, and a little bit in the side seams as well. I also shortened it by about 3.5 inches in the end, because I shortened the pattern piece by 2 inches and then still took, and I tried to do that in a fairly central region, and I still took 1.5 inches off the bottom. I also brought this seam in as well, as they were a little bit big. There was one thing I was going to say. Oh yes, I tried to transfer the changes, the adjustments to the pattern pieces, and ended up shaving off far too much off one of these pieces. So I need to stick that back on, and then I am going to make another one. So I also really, I think I'd mentioned to people before that I really wanted to make more basics. And so this is a Grainline Lark tee. Now the Grainline Studio Lark tee is brilliant because it has so many different variations. You can have a V-neck, a crew neck, a scoop neck, boat neck. You can have long sleeves, short sleeves, midi sleeves. You can have whatever sleeve length you want, and it's brilliant. So I went with the scoop neck, and I think it was in the smallest size, and I actually went for the long sleeves. I did shorten the sleeves slightly on the pattern piece, but I'm actually just tending to roll them up anyway. It's with some t-shirting from Fabricland, and I adore the colour. Teal is one of my favourite colours. I think I really like navy, purple, teal, those kind of colours. And maroon. Maroon's another really good one. So basically really autumnal colours. And yeah, it's so comfortable. I'm definitely going to make more. It's not the best sewing I've ever done, but it's perfectly fine. Okay, last but by no means least, because it's slowly becoming one of my most worn makes actually, is my Grainline Studio moss skirt. It's not a mini, as you can quite easily see. So I think I lengthened it by about 4 inches. This is denim fabric from Fabricland, stretch denim, and it's actually what I had left from my ginger jean. The instructions are really good. The only thing I would say about them is that when you sew the fly, in my opinion, the fly ends up the wrong way round. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but let's try and make the camera focus. It's not on that side actually, it's here. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this very easily, but basically this side here is an overlocked edge. Now in my opinion that shouldn't be like that. The inside here is the nice folded edge of the fabric. In my opinion the overlocked edge should be on this side and the folded edge should be on the outside, so when you see it, it's not this overlocked edge that you see on the fly. And I follow the instructions exactly as they were, and I know someone else who's also made it and had the same situation. So I actually think the instructions, they should just be the other way round. So when you're lining up, whichever edge it tells you to line up in that orientation for the fly, that's actually the fly shield, I think. I would just flip it the other way around, and the next time that I make it, I will. So in terms of sizes, I did a few different things really. I went with a size 0 at the waist, so I did a lot of grading to bring it in, a 4 at the hips, and I graded out, and that was a little bit tricky because there's all sorts of pockets and pocket bags and things like that involved, so I don't know if it was the best way to do it, but that was the way I did it. In terms of fit, I think it fits reasonably well, pretty well. The only thing I'm a bit disconcerted by is just how much room there is in here. I think I could probably still get a lot out of the back and it would still fit in the same way. It's also quite high, so I don't think it really goes around like this. I think it actually comes up quite high. I don't think there's anything I did. So there is a seam down the back here, so I could bring it in there. The waistband is in one piece, so you'd have to add, if I wanted to take it in at this stage, I'd have to add a seam and take it in. Marie of SEWN Bristol gives you a really great tutorial of how to reduce that waistband. So those have been all my makes whilst they've been away, so it's really not been very many, just 4 or 5, so you've not missed very much. So the Little Red Dress project is the brainchild of Holly Sews, now Holly Dolly on YouTube, and Renata from Running in Style, also on YouTube, and they got together and came up with this really great idea to pull the entire sewing community together. Initially it started with vloggers, but it's spread much further to include people who Instagram, people who blog, people who do none of those things and just want to get stuck in anyway. But the idea is just to make a red dress for the festive season. As always, I try to do something that's going to be a challenge, so I didn't just want to sew the same pattern. So I chose a different pattern, and this is the one I've gone for. So this is Simplicity 1418. So if I just bring this up, hopefully you'll be able to see this pattern. And the one I'm going to go for actually is View. Well, they're calling it View B, but it's essentially this one that I'm going to go with. And there's some line drawings here on the back, and I'm going to go for this very bottom one here, that's just off the shoulder and pretty simple. Now, red is not a colour that I normally wear. I actually don't have any red dresses. I have accents of red in things, but I very rarely wear completely red things. It's for a really stupid reason, which is I have red hair, and so I just feel like it clashes a little bit. So I've gone for bright red, pillar box red fabric. Oh, the other thing I should say, I now keep my projects in these clear plastic bags. This one's actually one that came with the fabric, but I also use these IKEA ones that you can get, which are great. And I've also started to cut multiple projects out in one sitting, and I got both of those ideas from Judith D of Judith D Creations, who's also on YouTube, so check her out, she's brilliant. I decided on this stretch cotton. I wanted something that was really going to hold the pleats, the box pleats that are in the skirt, And I bought this from So Essential UK, and I'm really looking forward to how this is going to turn out. I also bought some lining from them as well. The pattern actually doesn't include lining, it's just facing, but I'm going to line the whole thing, particularly as I might wear tights with it, so I don't want it to cling and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to be wearing this particular dress for my company Christmas party. So that's about 300 people, all vloggers, bloggers, Instagrammers and so on that are taking part are going to reveal their finished little red dresses on the 20th of December, but I will actually be wearing mine before then, so I'll try and maybe get a shot of when I'm wearing it for my party in the full shebang, and then you'll have to wait a week before you can see it, and I'll try and hide it from Instagram. I might struggle, but I shall try. So yeah, I'm really excited to get going. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming back and forgiving me for being away. I'll see you very, very soon with the reveal of my little red dress. Bye!
Christmassy. I've got my Christmassy earrings on, which actually light up. Let's see if we can get this to work. Yeah, that's one. And that's the second one. It's pretty fun. Right. Okay, yeah, we'll leave those on just for a second. And I've got a mince pie just floating in the wings over there, which I might tuck into in a bit. But we'll leave that over there. Let's turn these off. We don't want the batteries to run out. Right. I wonder. Just have to... I don't think it's through.